Welcome to the greatest YouTube channel that you will ever come across. I'm David Pena with Atuka Properties. I'm one of the greatest real estate agents in the area, and I help people buy and sell real estate. And another thing that I do is I love motivating people to achieve what they want in their dreams, in their goals, whatever their goals are. We live in a society that we're surrounded by negativity. Everybody around us, they have something to say. The news is saying, the sky is falling, there's war, there is virus, there's everything. It's so hard to stay focused on and put blinders on to focus on what you want out of life and your goal. You can, if you follow and listen what the world is saying, what everything's happening in the world, you're gonna be chasing a rabbit or chasing a tail you will never catch up with. A lot of times you have to sit down, write down your goals, write whatever you want to do in your life, what you want to achieve, and pursue that and be focused, stay focused. Whether it is, if you're trying to lose weight, you want to be able to say, I'm going to lose X amount of pounds by X date. And then you just put your head down and pursue that and you go hard. You're going to see in the news that are saying there's a war, there's another virus coming, another pandemic coming, and they're going to shut down everything. They're going to shut down the gyms. And that's going to be what makes you. Are you going to stay whatever they tell you to do? If they say don't go to the gym because it's dangerous, are you going to stay inside and gain the weight that you have lost? Or are you going to do whatever it takes to stay in shape or lose the weight, pursue your goals? Listen, diamonds are made out of pressure. You find a piece of coal and that becomes a diamond. That becomes after so much pressure. And whatever, life is not supposed to be easy. Because if life was supposed to be easy, it's a boring thing. You know, it's like no challenges, whatever. It just becomes so blatant, like it has nothing, okay? Life, if you want it to be meaningful, you have to pursue greatness. You want to pursue your goals, your dreams. You have to think like a little kid. A little kid would think, I want to be driving this kind of car. And the world comes in and says, no, that's impossible. Oh, that guy is rich. He probably screwed somebody over. Oh, you want to be a millionaire? You're insane. There's people who are millionaires do bad things. It's like, no. Some millionaires, some rich people have done bad things, but that doesn't mean that you have to be one of them. If your goal is to become super rich, if your goal is to become healthy, the next Arnold in the world, Mr. Universe or whatever he was, you have to pursue. A lot of people are gonna say, "Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. That looks nasty. All the muscles." It's like, but you still have to pursue your goals. You have to focus and ignore the naysayers. Look, it's a lot of times I've been in the boat that I've been super motivated and it only lasts a couple days. And that happens. Motivation is gonna only last you so far. It's only gonna take you this far. But discipline is what is gonna take you to the next level. If you wanna level up, you have to write down your goals, be committed. And the time when you have to do whatever it takes, when you're thinking, like, do I really want to do this? That's the time when you have to push. I was talking to somebody the other day, and this person was like, oh, I want to run a marathon. It was so hype. And I was like, you should. I mean, if you really want to run a marathon, you should 100% do it. But you have to think. In the morning, when you wake up, and you're getting out of bed, and you say, I really want to run a marathon. If you still have that spark that igniting you, then yeah, go for it. Pursue that marathon and go at it and train, because it's going to take a lot of time and effort and energy for you to pursue that goal. A lot of times I just had a cup of coffee early today. I'm hyper. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it every day. I'm going to do this, not every day, but like once a week. But then when you have the time and you've come down a little bit, you're like, do I really want to make another video? What am I going to talk about? What do I know that I'm going to talk about? Well, today I can talk to you about anything. I can talk to you about building wealth, real estate, pursuing greatness, whatever, be staying healthy. But I want to talk to you about discipline and motivation, because like I said, motivation is going to take you so far, but discipline is going to keep you there. There's a saying that goes along the lines of something that will get you to the door, but then you have to do something to stay there or something. I forgot, I butchered the quote, so don't quote me on that. But that's what you have to see life as a long marathon that you're pursuing, you're writing your goals, a lot of times you're gonna fail. This guy, Jim Rohn, said it's the goal is not achieving. The goal is not to achieve the goal. I'm butchering it up. Holy moly! He said the goal is not the goal. It's the person you become while doing that goal. Let's say your goal is to make $1 million. You get to $1 million, but that doesn't make you. What made you the person you became is the journey that took you to become together. And that's same with running a marathon. You can't just wait. You could wake up tomorrow and go and run a marathon if you're in decent shape. Like me, I run ultras, without training, but whatever. Not everybody's like me. But you can get up one day and go for a run a marathon. But that's not, it's good, it's a good feeling, you're gonna get like achievement, but the person you become, the greatness is in the person you become while pursuing that. When you have to wake up at 6 a.m. or an hour earlier to go run 5 miles, and then on a Saturday where you can sleep in, you have to run 17 miles because in 2 weeks you will be running the actual marathon. And the next day you want to go and run another 5 to taper down. The following week, that is who you become. That's what makes you. That's what you become. Okay? That's why you have to pursue your goals. You have to write them down. You have to be motivated, stay motivated, and push through. Because things are gonna get hard. Sometimes you hit a ceiling and then you have to break through that ceiling. There's what they call it a plateau. It happens in sales, it happens in your fitness, it happens in your life. You get to a certain level and you plateau and you're like, I wanna get to the next level. And then you have a ceiling right here. A lot of times what you do is you get a coach. A coach is gonna get you to the next level. Like I do CrossFit, everybody knows this. If you don't know that I do CrossFit, you should know. You have a coach that is helping you break that plateau. You are running whatever amount of if your goal is to run a marathon, the longest you've run is 15 miles, and you get to 15 and you get so tired, that's your plateau. Your income is $70,000 and you want to break through, you want to break the plateau, you have to push through. A lot of times is savings. This happens to a lot of us. You get this mindset that, okay, well, I have $10,000 in my bank account. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna work. I'm gonna try to save a little bit more. And then when you have $2,000 extra, something happens, your car breaks down, and then you're like, why can I just pass the $10,000? It's because you have what is a plateau, and you have your mind is not allowing you to get more money. Okay? Tony Robbins talks about standards. If you don't know who Tony Robbins is, you need to be following Tony Robbins. He's one of the greatest motivational. I love that guy. He says everybody has standards. We all have standards. If your standard is to keep $10,000 in your savings, that's gonna be it. So every time you get extra money, you will spend it. Another is a lot of us have our standards to always be helping our family members. Okay, we could be broke, but if one of our family members needs money, we do whatever it takes and we come up with it. Let's say the brother needs $1,000, then the person, you could be broke, and that person will find a way to find that $1,000. So the brother, he can let the brother borrow it, so he can look like a hero, because that's his standard. We all have to raise our standard and hold each other to that level of a standard, and that comes with motivation and discipline. You have to have that. Another thing is, a lot of us the standard is to always pay our bills. Like a lot of us pay our bills on time, we do this, but that's it. Like that's our standard. Doesn't matter what happens, and then you always pay your bills on time. A lot of people go out there and buy this expensive car. They don't even have extra money, but they just go and buy this extra car, $1,000 payment, In some way, they find a way to make that payment. And they're never late, they always pay on time. And you're like, where the hell did this person get the money from? It's because they have, their standard is to always pay their bills on time and never be late, okay? That's their standard. So imagine if your brain, your mind can do that. That means that you can achieve any level of standard you want. If your standard of living is $50,000 a year and you're happily with that and you're like, I don't need no more money, I'm good, then that's gonna be your standard. But a lot of times you have to raise your standard. My very good friend, Donald J. Trump, said that he had a friend who was broke, but he would always fly first class. And the reason was is because he wanted to get to the level of to see where everyone was flying first class, how they felt, how they acted, so he can level up. That was his new standard. So every time, later on, he made it in life, but it was because he raised his standards. A lot of people go out there and drive very expensive cars, and they see themselves, they visualize themselves on those cars or houses because they want to raise their standards to that level. Listen, I'm not gonna make this video so long. That's all I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about motivation and discipline. And once you have a really good motivation and you have the discipline to stay at it and keep at it and pursue greatness and do whatever it takes, then you will raise your standard of living. If your standard is to keep always saving $10,000, maybe your standard is going to be saving $25,000, $50,000, $100,000. And if your standard is to only own a house, that's going to be your standard. You will buy a house, but that's going to be your level. That's going to be your standard. And like, I remember I bought my first house and I didn't think I could buy a first house. I bought it and I was like, holy shit. So my standard went up, right? I bought my first house, my standard went up. And then it took me a while to be able to collect more real estate, but it's because I couldn't raise my standard. I was talking to a very good friend of mine. I've listened to Tony Robbins. I've listened to that speech so many times about raising the standards. And I was talking to a friend and he's like, dude, and we were talking and because if you're hanging out with your friends and you're not talking about money and goals, that is a problem. So I was talking to my friend and we were talking about savings. I was in that boat. I had a certain amount of money and I was like, dude, it seems like I can't pass this point. If something comes up, whatever, I would spend the money or I would invest in it somewhere here and somewhere there. But deep down, I wanted to buy more real estate. And he's like, dude, you have to raise your standard. You have to raise your standard. And he's like, you know about Tony Robbins. You know about the standards. And I'm like, it just clicked. A lot of times you have to listen to the same things over and over, and then it finally clicks. Something happens. If your goal is to lose weight, to lose 100 pounds, but you eat like a pig, then you won't achieve it. Something has to click in your brain. Something has to say, oh, I really want this. I really want this. But until you don't commit yourself and something clicks, something has to trigger you. I know a lot of people love that word. Something has to trigger you to want to become better and want to become greater, okay? So this was my YouTube video today to talk about motivation, discipline, raising your standards, and how to become the greatest ever. And thanks for watching and be great.